ادْعُ إِلَىٰ سَبِيلِ رَبِّكَ بِالْحِكْمَةِ وَالْمَوْعِظَةِ الْحَسَنَةِ وَجَادِلْهُم بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ ۚ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ هُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِمَن ضَلَّ عَن سَبِيلِهِ ۖ وَهُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِالْمُهْتَدِينَ.
Hello, my name is Kenan Ladisaw, also known as Abdul Khabeer. I am 29 years old. I was born and raised in Maryland. I came from a family of 3 siblings. I have one brother and one sister. My mother and father are married. I was spending a lot of time in Hagerstown, Maryland. Growing up in a neighborhood and environment surrounded by drugs and crime was difficult for me to avoid after sucked into. I got introduced to drugs in middle school, and many of my friends were involved in negative activities such as crime, alcohol, drugs, and getting into trouble with the law. My first altercation with the law was in middle school, and this was the beginning of a long list of other types of troubles that would come to follow. At that age, I had heard about Islam, but I really didn't understand what true Islam was. I thought it was something that was being taught by Farrakhan in the Nation of Islam. I was a regular churchgoer growing up as a kid, but I didn't seem to understand the concept of the Trinity and Jesus being the Son of God. This was always confusing to me. Growing up, I was a very studious young man, but I never found anyone to push me or encourage me to pursue my passion, except for getting attention by my peers who were negatively influenced upon me. Years of going down the wrong path, I was arrested for drug charges and sent to a federal prison in which I was sentenced to 3 years. While in prison, I had a lot of time to think and reflect about my life and the bad decisions I made in the past. I came to the conclusion that I needed to change my life and change it right away. I noticed in prison there were a lot of religious groups. I was really attracted to the Muslims and the way that they practiced and the way that they were so unified and helpful to each other. I started to ask questions about their beliefs and practices. What they were doing and saying really attracted me. I started to attend the Friday sermon, which is called Jumu'ah. I heard a lot of interesting things that attracted me into learning more. So in the year 2012, I was convinced that Islam was the religion of truth, and I knew that by practicing Islam that I could change my life and build a relationship with my Creator. Upon accepting Islam, the Muslim brother in prison named me Abdul Khabeer because I was someone who was aware of his religion. I was released from prison in 2013. I came home to Hagerstown and I was just so overwhelmed by the lifestyle that I thought I had left behind me prior to accepting Islam, but I quickly returned to my old ways, back into crime, drug, alcohol, and hanging out with negative influences. So I once again got into trouble with the law, and I still failed to realize that something was wrong. In prison, it was very easy to practice Islam because the many temptations that are found outside of prison do not exist in the belly of the beast. I disregarded everything that my Muslim brothers in prison told me. If it didn't stay on top, I disregarded everything that my Muslim brothers told me in prison. If you don't stay on top of your religion, then Allah will take it away from you. And that is exactly what happened. This is the path I was treading upon until I met one of my cousins, who was an imam in Baltimore named Abdul Khabeer. When I met him, he asked me, where have I been and what masjid was I attending? Then he told me that there's a masjid in Hagerstown on Dade Road, and that he knew the imam there by the name of Farouk Post. Then after about a year or so, I visited that masjid in Hagerstown, and surprisingly my very own cousin was giving the Friday sermon. At first I didn't recognize him, but he came up to me and he advised me to keep coming to the masjid. Things will get better for you. The previous week I went to the Friday sermon and Brother Farouk Post was giving the khutbah. The message the brother gave really touched my heart. After the khutbah, Farouk Post and I sat and talked about how we both knew Abdul Khabeer and how he had advised me to come to the masjid. After that, Farouk and I became closer and closer companions. I would come to the masjid and we would go out for lunch, hang out, and spend time together. However, even though I was coming to the masjid, I was really going through some difficulties. I didn't have a place to stay, but I was still trying to stay positive and around positive people. I was off the streets and busying myself with reading Islamic books and going to the gym for boxing classes. However, all of the stresses and difficulties I was facing in life at that moment took the best of me. I reached a low point where I was even thinking about taking my own life. I went to the masjid that Friday, and I met with Brother Farouk, and he immediately reached out to my cousin Abdul Khabeer, who contacted a brother by the name of Mujahid in Baltimore, who is the founder of the Keys Development that specializes in drug rehabilitation and therapy programs. After 3 days, the brother Mujahid came and picked me up from Hagerstown and enrolled me in a rehabilitation program in Baltimore. This is in October of 2017. Today is March 6, 2018, and I haven't touched one drug, one bottle of alcohol, nor have I been in any trouble with the law. Alhamdulillah. I have been attending daily rehabilitation classes, therapy, counseling sessions with the Keys organization in Baltimore. I have also been going to the masjid regularly and attending Islamic educational lectures. I have been in constant contact with Brother Farouk, who regularly reaches out to me and who has always been there for me for support. Just yesterday, I have actively participated in ministry activities, street dawah, in Maryland with iMacD, and there is no better feeling than contributing positively back to the community that you were once contributing negatively. Now I realize that it was only possible by the help of Allah and through Islam, iMacD, and Keys Development. Currently, I am happy with my life and making great achievements. I'm enrolled in GED classes, IT classes at Baltimore Community College, and learning more and more about my religion. I am sincerely grateful to Allah for putting Farouk and Mujahid in my life. The program that both of these brothers organizations are offering to our communities are extremely needed and beneficial to all people. And I am one living example. I highly recommend our Muslim community to support Brother Farouk's non-profit organization called Islamic Ministries and Community Development, whom are in cooperation with Keys Development in Baltimore and other Islamic organizations who are all working together to support the message of Islam and making everyone's lives better. Thank you all for taking the time to watch this. Assalamu alaikum.